We hear a lot about gang violence.
2 men are dead, another hurt in a gang-related shooting.
Just last year, Suffolk police arrested dozens of gang members after several teens were brutally murdered.
Feds say selling stolen bikes, gambling, violence, and drug trafficking, all a way of life that lasted for years.
We're going to destroy the vile criminal cartel MS-13 and many other gangs.
But what are gangs? Where are they a problem? Why do people join? And what inspires people to get out? It's tough to pin down one all-encompassing definition of a gang because they come in different forms, with different agendas and motives. Biker gangs, prison gangs, street gangs, the list goes on. But in general, here's the definition. It's an at least semi-organized group of 3 or more people who have a common identity, and it espouses illegal activity, sometimes in violent ways. Typically, signs, colors, or other markers distinguish the group, and gang leaders use harsh tactics to keep members in line and grow their power. According to the FBI, as of 2011, there were more than 33,000 gangs in the US and Puerto Rico, collectively including roughly 1.4 million members. That's about the population of Boston and Seattle combined. The vast majority of gangs in the US are in cities and in the suburbs. You won't find too many in rural America.
I'm an ex-offender, an ex-gang member, an ex-gang leader, and an ex-drug dealer. So I've been full circle.
Meet Ulysses Floyd, better known in his community as US. US grew up in a rough neighborhood in Chicago's South Side. He lost his mother at an early age, and his father was largely absent from his life. By the time he was 15, he had joined a gang. Research suggests there are several reasons why a young person might join one. It could be an effort to boost popularity in an area, pad the wallet, achieve a sense of belonging, or for security. US told me why he got involved: for camaraderie.
Mostly all my friends was in the gang when I joined. And I had been hanging around them and running with them. And then they was in gangs already, so I'm like, man, they like, come on, be with us, kick it with us or ride with us. So they won me over and I joined the gang. And then I became popular, what they call, I put in a lot of work. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
US eventually became a leader of the infamous Gangster Disciples, a dangerous and deadly criminal gang that formed in Chicago and has been around for decades. The group now has tens of thousands of members and a presence in over 100 cities across the country. Shootings, illegal drug deals, US has seen it all, and he's been targeted too.
I can't even remember all the times that I've been shot at attempts on my life, but I've been shot once. But all the other times I was fortunate enough to escape, but yeah.
And these are rival gang members?
Rival gang members, drug wars, shootouts, all kind of stuff. Whatever goes with the program.
And you were pretty high up in the ranks with your gang.
Yes.
You had a lot of protection, right?
Yes, I had security. I had security all the time. Wherever I went, there was some guys with me.
Gangs are prevalent in Chicago's south and west sides and are a huge factor in a gun violence problem that has plagued the city. It's no coincidence that those 2 areas of Chicago are ground zero for economic hardships. In fact, the poverty rate in some of those neighborhoods is greater than 50%. The poverty rate isn't anywhere nearly as bad in most of Chicago's more affluent north side, where gang activity isn't as big of a problem. US says money is definitely a factor. Do you think their financial situation has anything to do with it?
Yes, economics. Yes, poverty, economics. Always gonna have something to do with it. You're gonna have gangs wherever you got poverty and it's not a lot of money circulating. Gangs, that breeds gangs and violence.
It breeds it.
Right, it breeds it, There's no money.
US served time behind bars for drug offenses, but the now 67-year-old has turned the page and abandoned gang life. He dedicates his time to encouraging people to avoid violence. US is a supervisor for the outreach group Ceasefire Illinois. One study led by Northwestern University found that the number of shootings and gang-involved killings dropped in certain places where ceasefire existed. Do you think that's a pretty clear indicator of the work you guys are doing?
Yes, it is. Because you look at all the other communities that ceasefire wasn't in at that time or last time, the violence was the same or rose up. When we come into a community, the violence tends to go down. The numbers show that it go down, the data.
U.S. has tried his best to abandon his former gang life, even though people around town still remember him for it. U.S. tries to persuade young people not to go down the same dangerous path he did, and to save lives in the process, including their own. It almost sounds kind of like a redemption story for you. Like you're coming full circle a little bit. Would you describe it that way?
Well, I owe big time. That's what I'm gonna say. To that, I always think about that. I owe big time, because I've done a lot of stuff that I'm not proud of. And like I said, I hurt my own people, I hurt my community, and they suffered for the stuff that I did. So yeah, I owe big time. So like I said, I was a part of the problem. Now I want to be a part of the solution, and I want to give back, and I want to save lives and help the young people wherever I can.